Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We've been at it all 4th of July weekend. The painting is what goes quickly. It's the preparing to paint that takes forever. You saw that we essentially finished the building on the second story, underneath the porch and the walls and trim. The surface of the deck needs to be done up there. This outer rim joist needs to be done up there. We've got this post here. I don't know if you can see. It's again the parallax, but this is tipped in a little bit. I think he needs to be pushed out from the building some. And there aren't even bird's mouths in the rafters. There's no bird's mouth notch in the rafter where it sits on the ledger, on the rim, or on the carrying beam there. So I can just reach in there with a sawzall and slice the. And so I think that's what's going on here, is that I think that the beam is migrating in a little bit on that rafter. So I can reach in there with a sawzall, cut the nail, hammer him out so that he's plumb right here, and then I'm going to put big long screws through there into those rafters from upstairs just to fix up the look of this out here. You need things to look plumb and level and square. But we, you know, masked all the windows off, masked all the window panes off, the glass panes, caulked all the gaps, ripped off all the loose chipping paint. Unfortunately, somebody, while I was doing this, the neighbor was saying how this was repainted right before I bought it, a couple of years before I bought it. And so I think there's a chance, because a lot of this 5/4 lumber that's on the face of this is quite new and it has a green tinge. I guess I painted it all over now. The chair rail areas, these pieces here are real old, untreated. The nature of the wood, the visual wood under there and the wood under these stiles and rails elsewhere is different. So I think that it was reclad, I think, with treated lumber. I think that lumber was wet when it went up and then it was painted. And I think that's why it's letting all the paint fall back off in this way, in this big textured chip. So, it's frustrating because, I don't want to see. I am going to meticulously rip all these loose things down and touch up and touch up and touch up just to put our best foot forward here. If you let any, kind of the elements in there behind it, it just starts working at letting it fall apart again. Well, we're only looking for 5 to 10 years here. We want to appear more professional when we have clients and customers down to the studio. It's nice to live in a nicer looking home, so it's, personally for us. But someday we're going to do a bigger re-siding project and stuff like that. So we went around the corner here. Again, here's something you can kind of see. See, that's green, and it's nice and crisp and sharp on the outer corner. Nice and crisp and sharp. There's a green tinge, but there's no green tinge here. And these are more busted and banged up. And so I think some of this was quickly redone. So anyway, we put a new baseboard, sort of a finishing piece across the bottom. It used to have, when it was all rotten, that was before the grade was changed. So the water would drip here, and the snow that was plowed over here would melt and flow over into the, onto the building and stuff. Now I put a nice downhill slope. I still can't really see it. It's pretty severe. So everything that falls out here where the rainwater falls and everything else like that rolls away. This is all really nice and dry in here. And that's a PVC product there for that board, and actually the quarter round that I purchased was PVC as well. And I bedded the quarter round into that polyurethane sealant and nailed them down in there, and then struck off the top and the bottom. So really, as we paint that all in, it will be really nice for the time being. And we made these, notch these penetrations carefully, and then slid the pieces back in there just with some of the sealant caulk on there. It'll hold them long enough until that dries. And then we just went kind of around there, and this will all be painted. And I'm thinking that I'll paint the meter to match that beige, maybe. Haven't decided. And regardless, whatever I paint the meter, I'll paint these bollards or whatever. And I think I'll probably smash the concrete into the top of them and just put some either PVC or steel pipe caps over them. This was a weird cope that we had to do in here, and I ended up packing this out. I had some 3/8 plywood, and I did seal the top edge of that all with sealant really good too, but I wanted it to be out beyond the quarter round, definitely all the way across. And what was the other reason for that? Oh, and down here where this, you know, this theoretically goes all the way up and up and up and up and up. Anyway, he comes down here, and I like to have a little reveal there, or be the same thickness, and otherwise he would have set back in there and just looked terrible. Important stuff. I mean, I was all ready to put that up, and I realized that was what was going to happen. So I went and made rips of plywood. I mean, I added an hour or two with all these copes and stuff. But in the end, it was handy because I coped the plywood to fit the concrete there, and I laid out and drilled the holes in the plywood. And when I knew those would fit, I just traced them onto the PVC board. And so I could have made it directly on the PVC, but I'm glad that I was able to check my work before. I mean, those are $60 each. So it's like 130 something with tax for two 12-foot 1x10 PVC. The other side is like a natural wood, but the smoothness, you know, of that up there is pretty smooth. The surface of that wider piece there, and so that's how we chose, you know, to turn the smooth side out. Hey, Chezzy. Anyway, we've got a little brick siding patch to do here, and I'm building the extension jamb, which was the exciting thing. I had gone around and around again because this is the jamb that comes on the door, and it's this lovely faux wood color, and this is the extension jamb itself. This is gets you out to the surface of the building, then you can put trim on that. And so this is the extension jamb, and so it is screwed into the jamb with these nice 4-inch trim head screws right down in there. And then when we trim this, since that ends in about the middle, we'll still have a little bit of a reveal there. We'll leave about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 there, and then we go down to another reveal here, because there was no need to be flush here. And I think, because I again had gone around and around on how to slice this and how to finish it, I thought maybe the jamb would be natural all the way out and then the trim would be painted, but I since decided not to do that. When I had been thinking about doing that, I didn't go so far as to order an extension jamb matched to that trim, but I did buy this like Trex or similar composite deck material. It's fascia material, so it goes on the carrying beams of a deck that you've done, the deck boards, in a product that looks like this or whatever. But it was like that, really close to that same wood, and it's composite. And most importantly, it was thinner was an issue, because if I'd have been trying to put those screws in here, this is another 1/8 of an inch or if not more thinner. No, actually this is like it's a whole 1/4 of an inch thinner than that. That's white cedar. Anyway, but unlike deck boards, the back of it is smooth. Deck boards have grooves in them to save material, and but the back of that is smooth, because I figured if I'm going to be ripping it, I don't want one of those grooves to work out right at the back edge where I've got to sit, you know, where I've got to land, and then it's rocking around on there. But in the end, I think I'm going to paint this over to there. I can always paint further and go all the way to the gasket, but I think this being painted to here and the jamb having a nice uniform reveal all the way around is going to be the ticket. And I don't know what kind of a cluster fudge thing is happening here, and this light fixture, and I may take this electricity over here and put a fixture that shines over this door. I don't really know. Anyway, the easiest thing to do here, now I had to stack up 2 thresholds because why? Oh, because we need an extension threshold, and I also didn't get that to go with this door. So I just put a commercial threshold. I think we saw this already. I stuck a commercial threshold down in here, and then I stuck the door, and you know, and I aligned the ends of the 2 thresholds to one another. So it's just kind of a double trouble. Anyway, so then the extension jamb goes right down next to either one of them, real nice and smooth. And so all I did was, you know, I figured my length that I needed, if I knew what my reveal was going to be here, I don't want to be that much higher than that seam, so I got my length in there. I cross-cut the piece of, you know, cedar on the miter saw, 2 fresh ends at the length that I needed, and then I took the bull nose off one side with the circular saw so that it was crisp and sharp, and you know, no bull nose. Set him in here, and then I just made a mark at the back of him up here and a mark back there, and I took and put him on the sawhorses and snapped a chalk line between those 2 marks, because of course this is a very slight rhombus, or there's another word for it that I can't think of right now. It's late. Anyway, and I did the same thing over there, and then I left the top so you can see my process here. So here we are. We've taken, you know, we've cut our piece to length that we needed for the top, and we take the bull nose off of this side, that's the bull nose there, and so now I've got a square piece. And if I just set him in here, which I've already done, until he stops, you know, and then I reached up and made a little pencil mark there and a pencil mark there, and then I went and just connected them with a straight edge, and when I ripped it, then I put an X on the waist, so I cut to this side of the line, and when I come back, he'll go right on there and be perfect, and that'll be the extension jamb after I kick through those screws. Then I've got to rip this trim off, and I'll trim around everything here, and then there's quarter round, I guess, so we'll go quarter round around everything. I'll probably have to go get some more composite quarter round, and so we will have a really nice front door basically for a while now, and of course we're going to paint all of this too. But the most important thing is that I was here all weekend and I still haven't really painted. I got one coat of the beige color up, and that mostly just helps me see places that I want to pick at and caulk better. You know, this is just a travesty there. That's the old quarter round and the old shaggy paint and stuff that was on it. We did what we could here, but I just didn't, you know, I didn't do everything myself, and there's only so much you can do. Here's the new quarter round, and obviously those holes from the nails holding it need to be filled. This stuff all needs to be dug out of here, and it's just endless amounts of work. And then we've got the ceiling to do in there. Oh, and I needed to get one piece. There were 3 pieces for some reason. No, 4. There was this one, the left of the hole, the right of the hole, and this last one that went through here just for the downspout area. I got a short piece I'm going to take to the mill work, you know, business near me, and have them try and match a piece of that crown. So I need a stick long enough to go across there, all one piece, and then I'm either use a piece of that old one that's a little shorter to fix this area up here. I've got to return that, where is it? I've got to return that crown right there to the wall, you know, because Mr. Starling, he lives in there. The last 2 years it's just full of hay and stuff. So I mean, what you do is you end up putting a small miter on it and you turn it back like that. Is what it should look like, but that needs some attention there too. Anyway, so this is where we were all weekend, but I think, you know, when we get everything done up, this place is going to look a lot more like it should. Hopefully my property value and my taxes don't go up right now, because I can't swing it. We gotta, you know, make a little more money here. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you.